This study sought to test the efficacy of a math learning solution in the form of math stories based on the scientific understanding of the child as a learner using the constructivist framework in the context of a world where digital technologies exist alongside people.
Our job should really be to teach kids mathematicians, to get them into math from day one.
They have to have numbers, processes, procedures, applications to do that. But if the heart is not, number one, persevering in problems and in solving problems, it's not really math.
I train teachers to use math stories at Synapse School, Imagination School, and in schools in Guatemala, and observed how children in the primary grades enjoyed math learning and raised their levels of mathematical understanding with context-based problem solving. When I met Jessica Liu, the illustrator of the books in this study, we had the opportunity to produce math stories that met the needs of today's children.
We are reimagining math learning through stories that are emotionally engaging, with diverse characters from multiple cultures that children can identify with, and with math-oriented narratives set in a town called whatever, where people think they cannot do math. Most importantly, math learning is not about the mechanical and repetitive way of memorizing numbers and math operations. It is all about conceptual understanding, sense-making, reasoning, with math ideas and problem-solving.
The math storybooks and activity book, games, and activities are designed as creative and integrative applications of pedagogical theories, which include culturally responsive teaching, constructivism, and cognitive and learning sciences to teach mathematical sense-making and reasoning.
But will these solutions work? Exactly the question of this study.
Amidst the chaos caused by COVID and Omicron, these teachers agreed to support the research by teaching an after-school program with 2 of the books, games, and activities.
But this is Miss Gigi. Can you wave to Miss Gigi? Say hi, Miss Gigi.
Hi, Miss Gigi.
Miss Gigi has a big question.
I want to know what happens when children learn math with stories.
She wants to know how to make that happen. And I want to know how to make that happen too. So together, we're going to try to figure out part of the answer to that. The story is about Maya, a clothes maker, and her friend Ramon, a button maker. Maya sews colorful clothes with distinct designs, and every shirt and pair of pants she makes is unique for each person. In the town of whatever, people feel special when they wear Maya's clothes.
It was really fun to see the story aspect of it. I like to use stories in math. Having that, like, they can relate to it, and it's easier for them to see. So as like in their mind's eye, if that makes sense. So if they can see it and how that story is playing out, then it was easier for them to like understand what they were doing mathematically.
Today, we're going to make sets. So you're going to tell how you sorted your set of buttons. Sebastian, look.
It's like a whatever.
How is this? What is our set now?
I think our color.
This activity is an open-ended problem created by the teacher from the story. Every student is busy figuring out their solution. The teacher encourages and supports each student. Students learn from peers. The children are thinking, how can I make sense of these buttons and form them into sets?
And I dropped it and it goes here. And
Okay,
then
so what kind of sound is it?
like this.
So what would you call that? Remember our volume?
Low sound.
That's a low sound.
Done.
So that's pitch.
Yeah.
All right. Is there another one
Yeah.
that you dropped?
This.
All right. What is that sound? Is that low or high?
No.
Oh, so would that go here or would that go there?
Here.
All right. Keep going.
And This is loud, I think.
Oh, loud, right? What are all of those?
White.
They're all white. What would you do with that one?
If you do the front and it changes this.
Does it go with it? Look carefully. What would you think? It's okay to have more than two. Look at Valeria. She's got 3. I'm sure that Rebecca's gonna have like 4. What would you do?
But there's black.
Oh, so you think it's mostly black?
And this curves white a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, that's kind of really interesting. Do you think you could put them in groups? All right, go for it.
And the same side.
Okay. So last time by color, now you're doing size. Great, go for it.
Wait, what about the same holes?
Oh. So you see, what do you notice? Some have how many holes? 2 holes.
And then
Some have
4 holes.
some have 4 holes. Okay. And what about that one?
1 hole.
That's crazy. 1 hole. Let me do that. Okay, go ahead and sort.
This is mine.
Wow. I'm like,
For the story to capture children's minds, the narrative, the characters, the words, and the design had to connect to their curiosity. The proper balance of math and literary elements can be observed in how children respond to the story. Are they empathizing with the character? Are they following the plot? Are they convinced that by doing the math, they can help the characters? What is fascinating developmentally at this stage is that children respond to real and fictional dilemmas almost like they live in both worlds. The power of fiction is in its ability to add humor, to introduce positive and ideal values, and to imagine possibilities that highlight math concepts. Like Ramon, the button maker, and the tall man's shirt with a button problem that can make math learning purposeful and accessible.
This is the 3rd day of the program for the first book. The children know that they are learning math from a story, and they have been helping the characters overcome their challenges by thinking, doing, and learning about 3 math big ideas. Sets are group of the same types of objects. Equal means the same, and there are many ways to take numbers apart. Today, they will finish reading the story and will learn about equations.
counts. There are 5 buttonholes without buttons, and Maya does the math. 5 buttons, what's that word? Plus 5 buttonholes equals 10 buttons total. I noticed. Do you think McCoy is right? Could one shirt have green circle and green, and one have blue, like square blue ones? I brought some with me.
At this moment, the teacher and I looked at each other in amazement at the connection a student was making by touching the button of his shirt as they were reading about equal and not equal number of buttons.
Characters have the ability to tap into students going like, oh, you know, that's me. And it could be because they share the same culture, or they share the same interests, or they are the same race, or they, you know, I mean, there's a whole bunch of different ways that characters could tap into with kids. But I think that they have a great power for helping to contextualize the story for students so that they can figure out what the issues are, what are the problems, what is the puzzle, right? They can really form that sort of, I mean, think about it when we're solving a math problem, when I'm a child, I'm trying to solve a math problem. What's most important is that I can sort of create an image, like almost a movie of the problems that I encounter in my head.
How can anyone be so tall? Ramon wonders. He's never made a set of buttons for someone so tall. I have to say, seeing like the tall man, like with his buttons missing, I'm like, really, is this really that hard? But it really is. And I thought it was like so silly, but they took it so seriously, didn't they? They're like, oh, we've got to figure this out. So I thought that was pretty ingenious, actually. I just really feel like they understood what an equation was by the end of those, especially those 2 days that we focused on that aspect of the book. Like, what does it mean to join things? What does it mean that I have an equal sign? What does same mean? And that is actually carried over into like our daytime math, right? Because this was after school. But so I know I come back to it. I teach it heavily at the beginning of the year because for some reason, I don't know why, but a lot of math programs say it's a number sentence. And yeah, that's true. But the mathematician in me is like, it's an equation, right? It's an equation and we need to use the right word. So just understanding what that addition sign means and really what does same mean? And it's a foundation because in first grade later on, right, we talk about balancing equations. Are they the same and different? And it's so hard. It's mind blowing. And I have gray hair because of that topic. It's so hard for little minds. And it was probably hard for my little mind to understand it. So yeah, I think that just the fact that they understood an equation and how they can manipulate it and find all those ranges of what makes 10 is just probably the most impactful thing. I wish they all could have participated in that. Yeah, because all first graders need it.
Teachers and society in general thinks of math as like, this is math and this is language arts and this is science, and like they're all these separate things when in fact math by itself is useless. I mean, not useless, but it really, like, its applications are in a whole bunch of other content areas. That's what makes math so exciting. So
you're looking at your little kids and they're looking at the video, they can begin to analyze and evaluate the information. You know, and they began to play with the buttons. You know, they were not afraid of the buttons anymore. Pencil and paper, they would be afraid of it. You justify and support your ideas. Why? You can say why. You can give the context and you can generate new questions. You want them to be able to generate new questions. And that is how we have deep understanding. And we don't teach math that way. We want math as question and answer, yes and no, right and wrong. And that's not how it is. And we have to get away from that concept. You know, when you know something, you can recognize different points of view. And going back to that little girl, that she has 7 and 3 buttons. Another person had 6 and 4 buttons. A different point of view, but it's still 10.
Should you like these books?
Yeah.
How come?
Because it's fun.
What's fun?
Now.
What did you learn?
But we're gonna get another now. That with triangle you could do it like dog, bunny, cat, dog, and bird. This is our new book. Why did we not finish the old book?
You did.
But we didn't finish this one. No, we didn't finish the other one. The one we had from Miss Lunsford.
You did. You didn't?
We didn't get to do all the shirts.
Oh, you're gonna take it home.
I want to take that other one home and do the last shirt.
Okay.
I already did my side.